What is up, you guys? It's your boy Benda again, and a lot of people have been asking me lately about scaling and how they found some winners using my strategy. So now I'm gonna make a video on scaling and when you should scale, whether you should scale or not, what things you should be looking at, and how you can scale, right? So I'll just share my experience. I'll share with you guys how I like to scale and what my strategy is, so you guys kind of get a better idea of what you should be looking at and what you should be doing. So first things first, let me start with whether you should scale or not. Like, what things should you look at? Is it too soon to scale right now? Is this product even worth scaling? So some of the things that, so should you scale? Okay, should I scale? Right? So these are some of the things that you should be looking at. So some of the things that I like to look at before I even start scaling and scaling an ad set or scaling a campaign is I want to make sure that I'm getting enough return on investment. So let's say that I'm selling a product that I get for $8, and I'm spending $10 for purchase, so that's $18, and I'm selling it for $24. So that's a good $6 profit margin, right? So that's like a 20-25%, something like that, right? So that is a good margin, but keep in mind that once you scale, that margin is gonna drop. Once you scale, your return on ad spend is gonna go down. So if your ROAS right now is a 3.0, it might drop down to 2.5 or 2.0. So you have to keep that in mind before you start scaling, right? So one of the things that I like to look at is I make sure that the ad set that I'm about to scale, or if it's a product that I'm gonna scale, I make sure that there's at least 2 to 3 ad sets with at least 4 sales, right? So I'm not even gonna bother scaling a product that I just tested, that I just started testing yesterday, and today I have $3 in ad spend with a sale, and I'm like, oh, is it time to scale? No, that's too soon. You guys need more data to see if this product is even worth scaling, right? So that's the first thing that I look at. The second thing that's really important to me is the ROAS. So I usually don't scale anything that's below a 3.0, but lately I've been testing with 2.6 to 2.7 ROAS, and I've started testing those too, and I'm seeing some good some, not so much profit, but it's still there. So it's, even if it's 10% profit margin, even if it's $2 per sale, that's still something, right? So 3.0 is definitely like the sweet point for me, but 2.6 to 2.7 also works okay. And the third thing that I look at is I want to make sure that the cost per click is less than $1. So if you're targeting worldwide, like I show you guys, your CPC should be way lower than $1. But if you're only testing United States, or if you're only targeting United States for some reason, if you have a brand or something like that, then you want to make sure that your cost per click is less than $1, right? And your CPM also needs to be under $10. $10 is still high. Again, with worldwide, your CPM is gonna float around 4 to 6. It should be in that range. But if it's less than 10, you're good to go, right? Click-through rate. Click-through rate is really important. Click-through rate is basically how many people click on the ad to go to the website per 100 impressions, right? So the average number is 2%. So for every 100 impressions, you should have 2 clicks to the website, 2 website views, right? I've had some ad sets where the click-through rate was 7 to 8%, which is really good. But anything over 2% is pretty good. Anything under under 2% is, you need to either switch up the ad copy, you need to switch up the audience. Something is not right, right? So there are a lot of things here, and it might be kind of confusing, so let me just kind of put them in order. So the first thing, the main thing to me, is the ROAS. So that's the first thing I'm gonna look at. I don't care what the CPA is, the cost per action, which most of the time is gonna be cost per purchase. I barely ever look at the CPP. I just look at the ROAS, because a lot of the times you're gonna have products that people buy 2 of them, or that you can bundle up. So there's a lot of different ways you can increase the average order value, that you can increase the ROAS. So that's basically what I look at. And then once I start scaling, I'm also going to work on improving my ROAS, improving my AOV. So that might be upsells, that might be cross sells, bundling something, like stuff of that nature, right? And then we have the cost per click, we have the CPM, we have the click through rate, right? So those are some of the things that I look at, and if everything checks out, if all the numbers are looking good, I'm gonna go ahead and scale it, right? So scaling. So now there's two ways you can scale. You can play it safe, and with playing it safe, what you can do is every 48 to 72 hours, increase the budget 20%. Oh, not worse. 72 hours. Right, so that's so if you're on a low budget, if you don't have that much money in, if you don't have that much cash flow going around, you definitely, this is the safest way to go. Increase the budget 20% of the ads at 48 to 72 hours, right? And that's if all of these things are met. If not all of them, most of them, right? At least 70%. So at least 70% of the below. So let's say you have a ROAS, you have the sales, you have the cost per click, and you have the click-through rate, and then we can work with the CPM. There's many ways you can lower your CPM, and the same thing goes for click-through rate. If all this is looking good and the click-through rate is like 1% or 1.3%, there's many ways that you can increase the click-through rate. You can switch up the ad copy, you can change the audience, you can try different creatives. So click-through rate is not that big of a deal if everything else checks out, right? So play it safe. You're basically just gonna increase the budget 20%, 48 to 70, every 48 to 72 hours, and you're gonna do that as long as you're profitable, right? So if let's say that the ROAS when you started was, let me write an example. So ROAS was 2.7 when you started. And then once you scale, it drops down to 1.8, right? So let's say that you increase the budget from $10 to $12, right? So you increase the daily budget from $10 to $12, and your ROAS drops from 2.7 to 1.8, right? In this case, since the difference is only $2, excuse me, I'm gonna wait another day. So I'm gonna wait at least 24 hours for the ad set to kind of get used to the budget, or to optimize, or to see if something was wrong. So I'm gonna give it more time. But if it was something like, we went from $10 to $50 and it stops working, then I'm gonna bring it down to $10, right? So that's one thing that we look at. And let me see what else. Yeah, so that's basically the play it safe scaling. So you just increase the budget 20% as long as you have the return on your ad spend, or as long as you're profitable, right? So second is aggressive scaling. How do you spell aggressive? Okay, aggressive scaling. So the way I do this, and this is usually what I do nowadays, because I like to scale fast and I like to see if a product is worth scaling, because I'm testing so many products that if I do 20%, it's going to take up a lot of time. Even with automation, even with the rules and all that, it's still going to take a lot of time for me to monitor all the ad sets and to look at them every day. So I just like to do aggressive scaling, and that is basically, let's say that you're starting with $5 ad sets. So, and for all of you guys asking if $5 ad sets still work, they still do work. I still test $5 ad sets when I'm testing a lot of products. Like recently, one of my winners started to die down, so I was testing 3 to 4 products a day. And 3 to 4 products, if I'm testing at $10, $20, that adds up. So I was testing $5 ad sets, and then I recently found a winner, right? So $5 ad sets do still work. You just gotta wait longer to look at all the data and to decide if you wanna scale the product, if you wanna kill the product, right? So go from 5 to 10 to 50 to 250 to 500, and then I move on to $1,000 manual bidding, right? And once you go past the $50 amount per ad set, duplicate the ad 3 times. So under each ad set, so in each individual ad set, If the budget is more than three figures, if the budget is three figures, if it's over $100, make sure that you guys duplicate the ad 3 times so your ad set reaches different audiences. So that way, so it's gonna reach different parts of the audience. So let's say that you're targeting dogs, right? So you're targeting the dog keyword, and you have a $500 ad set. If you just have one ad, it's gonna go to that one part of the audience. But if you have multiple different ads, it's gonna go to different parts of that dog audience, right? So one audience might be different. One part of an audience might be different. Then might behave different. They might, a lot of things might be different. So that's why you're gonna do that, right? And then you're gonna do the same thing with the manual bidding ad set too. And with the manual bidding ad set, you guys can so let's say that your CPP, average CPP for the winning ad set is $9, right? So what I like to do is I like to start with 3x the CPP. That's gonna be my max bid. Right, and then once it starts spending, once you see how fast it's spending, how fast the ad set is spending, and if you're getting sales or not, and all that stuff, you can keep bringing down the bid and find that sweet spot, right? And I recently also started using Companion Labs. Companion Labs is it just does a bid test for you, so it kind of makes 13-14 different ad set and it shows you all the bids, and then you can kind of decide from there. And that's been working out pretty good for me so far, right? But I haven't really had a chance to really dive deep into it, but so far so good, right? So 3x the CPP, that's one way that you can go, but that's if you have the budget. If you don't have the budget, if you want to play it safe again, so manual bidding safe, then start with the lowest suggested bid. So when you're manual bidding, Facebook is gonna give you a suggested bid. Just start with that number. The lower number might be $6, might be $7, and then after 15 minutes, 20 minutes, half an hour, if the ad set doesn't spend, increase the bid by 50 cents or $1, right? Increase by 50 cents to $1, and then you're gonna keep doing that and watch your website, watch if you're getting sales, and you're gonna watch all the data until you find the sweet spot. So you're gonna keep bumping up the bid, keep bumping down, but it's all about finding the sweet spot, right? Manual bidding is not that hard. It's just you're gonna if you've never done it, you're gonna at least spend $300-400 just trying to get used to it, right? So that's one thing about manual bidding, right? So again, let me go over this. So scaling. If you want to play it safe, every 48 to 72 hours, just bump up the budget 20% and keep doing that up until you're profitable, right? And then once you get to that $200, $250 point, make sure anything over $100, make sure that, you make 3 copies of the ad, you duplicate the ad 3 times inside that ad set. It might be the same ad. If it's the same ad, make sure you guys switch up either the ad copy or you switch up the ad creative, or you switch up the, change the thumbnail, start the video differently. The first 3 seconds, just switch those up, right? And if for some reason ad set stops performing, and what I mean by that is that if you stop getting sales, if the CPP goes up to from $9 to $30 or to $40 or to $37, something like that, if it doubles, triples, quadruples, then bring down the budget to the previous amount. So let's say that you were doing aggressive scaling, right? And your budget right now is $250, and you bump up the budget to $500, and then you see that your cost per purchase goes from $13 to $42, right? And in that case, I would wait at least 20 to 25% ad spend, because then the ad set kind of optimizes. So even with $500, if it spends $100 and your CPP $150 and your CPP is still really high, then I would bring it down to $250. And then if at $250 it keeps performing okay, keep it. If it stops performing, bring it back down to the previous budget, which was, in my case, is usually $50, right? So those are some of the ways that you can scale. And now, scaling is not just increasing the budget and hoping that you would get sales, right? A lot of the times, you guys want to use the breakdown breakdown by age, gender, placement, and you guys want to see where the sales are coming from. What age group is making the most purchases, and what age group is performing the best, right? Like you might see that 25 to 34 is performing really good, but then 65 plus, you have CPP, like crazy high CPP, like $27, and for 25 to 34 you have CPP of $6, $5, right? And in that case, when you start to scale, you want to duplicate the ad set and run it to just this age group with the gender, with the placement, right? And the placement, like I'll give you an example. Recently, I've had a product that was performing okay, and then I went to the breakdown and looked at the placement, looked at the age group, looked at the gender, and the product had really low CPM and pretty good CTR, and it had a lot of add to carts, but the purchases weren't that many, right? I was getting like one purchase every 7 add to carts, and which is really, really odd, right? So I did the breakdown by placement, and I saw that most of my sales were coming from Instagram, right? Facebook was spending a lot of money on Facebook placement, but I was barely getting any sales from Facebook, and the CPP was crazy high. And on Instagram, CPP was like $4, $5, right? So I created I had three ad sets that were performing really good, and I duplicated those ad sets, and those ad sets were going just to Instagram, just to that age group, just to that gender. And then next thing I see, and those ad sets were at $50 because I wanted to see results fast so I can move on to the next product, or if I scale this product. And I started seeing cost per purchase of $5, $6, and that was throughout the whole day. So I had, for $50, I had 10 purchases, and the ROAS was crazy high, right? So sometimes you gotta just tweak the ad set and make it work. But a lot of the times, if you do all this and if it still doesn't work, then don't hang on to the product for too long. Don't fall in love with the product. Just move on. There's so many other products out there that you shouldn't be wasting your time, wasting your money over just one product, right? So this is just one way. Excuse me. One way you can scale. Another way that I like to scale, I do this every single time I find a winner, is scaling using lookalike audiences. And in the previous video where I talked about custom audiences and lookalike audiences, I talked a little bit about how to scale with lookalike audiences, but I'll go more in depth in this video. So once you have once you get to this at least 2 to 3 ad sets with at least 4 sales, you're gonna have enough data for video view lookalike audience, and you're gonna have enough data for website view too, right? Even if you're doing worldwide. So inside video view, I like to do 3 second, 10 second, 25%, 50%, 75, and 95. So basically every single option that you have for video view. And then you have website view, you have add to cart, you have initiate checkout, and you have purchase. Excuse me. So right out the gate, once you start scaling, let's say that you started doing the budget on these ad sets, and you start to scale using either play it safe or you do aggressive scaling, right? I'm gonna create another campaign with all the lookalikes. So this is gonna be a different campaign. So different campaign, and I usually just name it the product. So product name and lookalike, right? And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna create one. So this is the 3 second custom audience, right? And then I'm gonna create 1 to 10%. I start off with 1 to 5. Let's just do that. So 1 to 5% individual audiences worldwide. Right. So I'm gonna do this thing for every single custom audience that I have. And what that's gonna do is that's gonna give me 5 audiences here. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. So now we have 30 audiences total from just video view. Right. And then I'm gonna do the same thing for website view. And once I have enough data, I'm gonna do it for add to cart, initiate checkout, and purchase. And once you run all these ad sets, you should have enough data for add to cart within a few days if the product is a winner, if you keep it running. And just from this, just from all this, you're gonna have 5, 10, 15, 20. So you're gonna have 50 audiences, right? And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna run all of these audiences at $5 per day. And this is when you're actually gonna find out if the product is gonna work or not. Because right out the gate, right on day one, you're gonna get some sales from a few, if not most of the ad sets. You're gonna get some sales from a few of the ad sets, right? So if you have 30 ad sets total, you're gonna get at least 3 to 4 sales from, some of these ad sets, and you're also gonna see a lot of add to carts, a lot of checkout initiate, a lot of website views. So those are some of the signs that I look at, and those are some of the signs that I see pretty much every time I have a huge winner, right? Every time I have a 5-figure, I have a 6-figure winner, I see a lot of these signs, right? And you're gonna run these at $5 a day, and most likely you're gonna start with video view lookalike audiences, and then once you have enough data, you're gonna move on to the website view, add to cart, initiate checkout, and purchase. And then once you have the winning ad sets from the lookalike audiences, you're just gonna do the same thing again. So you can either play it safe or you can do aggressive scaling. And then you have those options again. Oops. Okay. Forget it. Yeah. So this is what you should be looking at before you even decide to bump up the budget or before you even decide to scale the product. Most important thing is the ROAS. Make sure that it's over 2.5. I'll just write that. Just make sure that it's over 2.5. But that really depends on the product too. So just kind of use your own use your own brain and kind of think about it. That are you still profitable? Are you making at least $10, $15 per sale? If you are, then you should be okay to scale, because once you scale, your CPP is gonna go up a few dollars, right? So you do all that. You do the scaling, you have the lookalike audiences. So now, if you guys have a winner, if you guys think you have a winner, make sure you look at this and make sure that you are in profit. And why I say that is because I still have a lot of people tell me that one of the biggest mistakes that they are making right now, or one of the biggest mistakes that they made, were they just kept scaling a product, or they just kept increasing the budget of a product that they were getting sales from, but they didn't know what ROAS was, so what the profit margin is, so they didn't look at all that. And that was the same mistake that I was making, like I told you guys. So I was just, my first winner, I was just looking at the sales, I was just looking at, Shopify numbers going up, but I wasn't keeping account of how much money I'm making versus how much money I'm losing, how much money I'm putting in versus how much revenue I'm making. So make sure you guys keep an account of that. And if everything checks out, start scale, start the lookalike audiences, and do the same thing over and over again. And this is just rinse and repeat. I do this with every single one of my products that I find that I think are winners, and it's been working out pretty good for me, right? Now I know there's different strategies out there. There's people who say to duplicate the ad set and do all this. I've done that too, been there, done that. That doesn't work for me. But that doesn't mean that it's not going to work for you, right? So this is what's been working for me really, really well, and that's what I'm showing you guys, this strategy, and that's what I'm teaching you, right? So yeah, guys, make sure you do all this, scale using these, keep an eye on all your numbers, keep an eye on all your KPIs, and yeah, so you should be seeing really good results with the lookalike audiences. This usually performs better for me than just scaling on the interest ad sets, because over time, after like a week or two, most of my interest ad sets die down, and I'm only left with 2 or 3 ad sets that are performing good, right? And then it's mostly just lookalike audiences, and this is where the real magic comes in, because each of these audiences is going to be like 21.2 million, I believe, something around that number, right? So yeah, guys, scale using this strategy, make lookalike audiences. Don't be scared to spend money. How are you going to make $1,000 if you can't spend $300-$400 per day on ads, right? So don't be scared to spend money. Don't think of it as you're losing money. Think of it as you're getting data from Facebook. You're learning. This is what you have to go through to get good at anything, right? So make sure you do all this. And if you guys still have any questions, drop them down below in the comments. Give this video a thumbs up if you like the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're liking the content that you're seeing. And I'll see you guys in the next video.